When was this drive-in built?
Around 1948, I understand. It was built by, his last name was Clements in Deckerville, and he hired Doug Davis to run it, and it was all built out of like cement board, asbestos board, whatever you want to call it, and the fence and the screen, everything except the buildings were made out of this material.
And it was called a highway also?
Yes, it was started right with the highway. But he was a lumber dealer in Deckerville.
And when did you take over?
My first wife and I bought it in 1968. Excuse me, 69. We bought the Sanilac in 68. Then the other owner owned both of them. He recommended, he decided he was going to run this for a few years. And his health got bad, so he decided to sell the drive-in, and he recommended that I buy it. He said, you don't want to let one run without the other because there'd be too much competition. So I didn't want to do it, but my wife talked me into it, and I was glad I did.
You don't regret?
Not a bit. She took care of the one uptown, and I took care of this one, and of course in the wintertime I was uptown with her, so she was a little scared, but she was a good lady, and she died of cancer in '88.
How has business been lately?
Well, it's since about the time that I kind of semi-retired. My son has taken over now, and I just work in the drive-in in the summertime and try to go to Florida in the winter. But about the time that I got out of it, there was a slow decline because of, it seemed to be because of a shopping center in Port Huron, Birchwood Mall. They already had a 6-screen down there, and maybe it was an 8-screen, I'm not sure, but that didn't seem to bother us. It was only about a mile away from the new one, but when they built the new one, people could go down there and spend the day and send the kids to the show, and they could shop, or vice versa, maybe, I don't know, but that's when it really, the videos didn't hurt us at first, and I still don't think it was the videos, it was more the theater. It's got 180 posts, which makes 360 cars, which you double that again, because you usually have 2 in a car at least, so. We got 700, in fact, I've had 700 here. The last time was when Porky's first come out, the first Porky. We had 704, something like that.
How many days a week are you open?
We're open every day during the summer. From about the 15th of June till Labor Day, we're open every night, and then in the early spring from probably May 1st until school gets out, and then with Labor Day, we start going back to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, we run that way usually through September, and then we close. We have so many people come in and thank us for being here, and hope we can keep going. And I just tell them as long as they keep coming, we can keep going. But we're not making a fortune, but we'll keep it all open as long as we can.
Have drive-in audiences changed since you first opened this place, or is it the same kind of people coming? A lot of kids, families?
Yeah, you get quite a mixture. The families like it because the children are free. They don't have to hire a babysitter. And as long as we can show the right kind of movies, which we try to, we show all kinds, but we try to mix them up so that if we have an R-rated one week, we go to a G-rated one the next, so that nobody's left out completely. And of course, everybody knows a PG can be just as bad as an R anymore. There's not that much difference. So unless you have a really Walt Disney animated one, you're not sure of nothing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just started.
You ever have any problems with young kids, or everyone's pretty well behaved here?
Yes, we're very lucky there, and no crime yet. I expected it to work this way, up this way, but that's why some of the people from the city have said they come up here, because it's so quiet, and they can, even though we advise against it, they sit out on the grass and watch the movie. Where I guess in the cities you probably wouldn't dare do that.
Yeah, and there's no grass at the ones, but in Detroit they're all gravel.
Right.
I haven't really seen,
I haven't really seen, even the one at Burnside, which was open until recently too. They were pretty well all gravel. There was no grass, so people do like that. The mosquitoes, the mosquitoes are a little worse with grass, but if you spray yourself good, they don't. And we sell the coils, and they seem to help. Hi, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. That's pretty good. It's more of a family drive-in still. We try to keep it that way. The pictures have changed. Some the big draw used to be the motorcycle pictures. Thank you. Have a nice evening. I don't know what you call them, but they were kind of like the beach movies with the sexy girls and motorcycles. That was a rage for a long time. You were guaranteed to draw Porky's. And that was the last big hit we had, and there was nothing to that one really, but it caught on some way. And they come out with Porky's 2, and there was nothing, but the original Porky's drew the biggest crowd I ever had here, and that was I think it was in the early 70s. But I can still remember that night. We had over 700 people here, and we never come close to that after that, especially. We might have before that, but that was our last big one. Even BT didn't match that. Hi. 11, please.
How much is it?
11.
You guys, you plan on staying open as long as you can?
Well, this year we don't really know what we're going to do because of we had the rotten spring. We couldn't have been open too much anyway because there's so much rain. The field seems to sink. It's a lot of sand back there, and you get stuck. So we don't open. But we're just going to open. We just play by ear and see. As long as we get people, we'll stay open because I don't have anything to do, and until the first year when I go to Florida. So. One year I did stay open until December 5th, but that was way back in the 70s.
So I can do it for you? Yeah. $350, please. Duties here, I take care of the customers. I pour pop, make popcorn and the sandwiches, and take care of business. That's it. $275.
There you go.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Jeff, how long have you worked at the Hiway Drive?
I've known the Fettings now for 3 years out here.
And you like working?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a great job, good environment. Get to work with people a lot. It's something I like to do. 75 cents, please. No, slow pokes are out. 25. Thank you. What can I get for you? Be natural. It's fun.
You like to drive in when you're not working? You like going to the drive-in? Or?
I don't have a whole lot of time. I work close to 50 hours a week at my full-time job.
Which is?
I work at DGP in Marlette. It's a fiberglass industry.
And this is like your night job?
This is my fling, I guess you could call it. Okay, 2 hot dogs. Thank you. Have a great night. Not quite done.
How are the crowds here? Pretty friendly, or?
The crowds aren't too bad. You get your occasional difficult people that come through, to put it nicely. Other than that, most people are real nice, real good to get along with. Don't give you too hard of a time. Can I help you? This has got to be interesting. You were saying?
Jim said there were some troublemakers yesterday.
No, there was just a guy last night came in with his dog and he was kind of drunk. But you know, you kind of just deal with the good and the bad at the same time and get them out of here as quickly as you can without causing a problem.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened in here? Anything wild, or it's all pretty tame?
Oh, I got a pretty good contact buzz changing toilet paper in the ladies' room one night. It's probably the wildest thing that's ever happened in 3 years out here, for me anyways. Here you go, thank you. Can I help you, sir? 2 hot dogs. Must be hot dog night.
How late does the concession stand stay open?
Concession stand will stay open right until after the first feature. We have intermission, and after the crowd slows down during intermission, which is generally when the second movie starts, I'll close up shortly after that. Can I help you? 2 cups ice. I can do that. There you go. Thanks. Thank you. Nope, you're all set. Last weekend was very busy. I had a pair of girls came in here and they said, you know, you really need help. And I said, what are you trying to talk about my mental state? But no, it's not generally too busy to where I can't handle it, but sometimes I do wish I had another person. $2.75, please. Out of 5? $2.25. Thank you. Have a great night.
Dan, when did you start working here?
My first summer was the summer of 1973.
Was this your first projecting job, or were you?
Well, my first one would have been at the Sanilac in Sandusky. I learned them up there, and then they moved me out here a few months later.
Which one you like better?
I would much rather be out here, not confined to a little room, you know. Okay, well, we're getting ready to go to Reel 3 of Independence Day. I'm going to check my carbons out here. Got some new ones stuck in there. Look like they're ready to go, so we'll just close this up. Got about a minute to go. I'm going to be looking for my cue marks. The little black dots you see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You see one at 8 seconds to the end of the reel, and you see another one at 1 second. And that's when I will change projectors.
How has the projection changed since you started? Pretty much the same, or?
For me, it hasn't changed a bit out here. It's still original right from the day it was installed back in 1948.
What kind of projectors?
Oh, we use 35 millimeter optical sound projectors.
Is the brand important?
It's a Simplex. It's called. It's made by RCA, which I'm sure they're obsolete now. I know they don't make projectors like this anymore, but you can still get parts for them. So I don't know. Maybe they are.
I've seen all the places I've been. These are the projectors I've seen, so they seem to be.
It's a standard type projector. There was another company, National, I guess, that made some projectors. Century. So there's a few other companies, but the RCA Simplex is the ones I've seen the most anywhere I've been. There's the first one. 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. And we're over here. Better get the carbon shut off. Open up the gates. Reel 2 out. Open her up, and she's still glowing red hot. Alright. Put this one over here in the rewinder. Be kind. rewind, they say, right?
Do you project full-time? Is that a full-time job?
No, I'm also a bartender, and I also work for a satellite installation company. Sell Prime Stars.
So you just do this on the side then?
More or less, just in the summer. A little extra fun in the summer, you know.
So what's the deal with the rods on these instead of a bulb? What is the difference?
Well, back in the old days, this was the only method they knew of to create a light intense enough to serve this purpose, I guess you could say.
So what does it do?
Well,
What is the rod?
It's a copper-coated carbon rod. The copper conducts the electricity and allows it to burn.
Anything wild ever happened here? You know, that's projecting, see anything wild happen at the highway or no?
No, I remember the time I had to wake the couple up in the car. When I walked up there with a flashlight, I got an eyeful. Stick a new positive one in here. The right side is positive, the back side is negative. And the arc, it throws the arc here right between the two ends of the rods. To fire it up, I hit power and I just touch them together kind of like that, and they explode into a burst of light. A little motor on the other side feeds them down as they burn up. You know, when they burn up, they get rather short like that. You know?
What changes have you seen here since you started? I know you guys call it a radio sound. Tell me about that.
Yeah, a few years ago, I finally got the idea that we needed to do something about those little chintzy speakers. So I got together with a buddy of mine, and we built an FM transmitter, hooked her up, and much better. Now the sound sounds as good as the stereo in your car does. And we rent these things out now as little Walkman radios. So if you want to just walk around and listen to the movie, you can just put these suckers on, you know, and off you go.
What was the deal with changing the frequencies?
Well, we kind of jogged the frequency around over the years, trying to find a good clean one, but this year we got a new transmitter hooked up, and wanted to get the best sound we could out of it, so I lowered it down to 87.9, which is a clear frequency up here. The other one last year was getting a little interference from a Detroit station, I do believe. Where are we at here? Starting to get down towards the end. Well, this Independence Day is one of the longest movies this year at 2 hours and 20 minutes. Shipped it to me on 8 separate reels.
How many do you usually get? How many reels?
6 would be more of an average, I guess. But a lot of movies are just on 5, you know. No, I expect to see this stick around for a while. You know, you gotta think, there's a lot of people, a lot of kids coming of age now, you know, and they've grown up in the home with their little VCR movies and rentals, and you know, and that's all they've known, and they're not going to want to sit around and watch movies all the time on their lither TV. They're going to want to get out. You know, they're getting their driver's licenses. You know, they want to get out and have some fun. So I think that with the new coming of age group here right now, I think that we can probably make this thing work a little while longer. You know.
What do you see the future of the driving doing like on the highway?
Well, everybody wants us. The screen blew down in April of '96, and we didn't know what to do. We took a risk again. We knew we couldn't sell the drive-in with the set here and no screen, and it's farmland, so it wasn't worth much, 11 acres. So my son decided to take the chance, and so he undertook it, and we had quite a hard time. We tried to get it done locally, but I don't think the local contractors really knew enough about it to bid accurately. They were way high for what they were going to do, so my son Larry finally contacted one in Texas. Well, he was all set to do it. He was a one-man crew, he worked by himself, and he was going to build it out of wood again. But he was working in New York State, and somehow he fell off at the top of the the tower he was building and fell 35 feet. And as of today, he's still in a coma. So when Larry was notified of this, he contacted, I guess, the only other really builder around out of Ohio, and got a bid from them, and they said, well, they'd build it at their factory, not a factory, but at their place, and bring it up here and assemble it, which they did. They arrived on Tuesday, started Tuesday morning, dug the hole, hired mostly all local contractors with the backhoe, dug the hole, and the first thing Wednesday morning they poured the cement, and then from then on it was just a matter of they hired a crane to put the steel up, and it only took, anyway, it was only a day and a half, and people couldn't believe it. They drove by and see the July 12th opening, and there was nothing there. And they said, well, you know, they just couldn't believe that on the 10th we had it up, and when on the 7th we didn't, and it just amazed everybody. It got on AP wire, and I got calls from clear around the state.